What's up everybody, Kier Gomes here, and happy Halloween. So rather than bringing you a Halloween style spooktacular, I feel like because I already did that with the Alex Pandrea Fear deck that came out recently, today deserves something a little bit more perfect. You might be wondering what I mean by something perfect. Well, I'll tell you, if I had to count how many hours I've spent conceptualizing, working on designs, giving feedback, promoting, brainstorming, daydreaming, and even fantasizing about the SlowHands deck, I don't even know. I don't even know how many hours have gone into it. I did a video recently talking about the SlowHands deck, the idea. It's something that I've been conceptualizing for years. It's something that I've been really wanting to do for a very long time. And it wasn't until maybe like the last 6 months that I had a platform and the ability to actually take my ideas and collaborate with somebody who could genuinely make that happen. I won't get into the entire story. If you want to watch that video, I'll link it down below. But after everything that has gone into it, the time has come. In this box is the very first prototypes of the SlowHands Playing Cards. Now I'm super happy because not only am I gonna actually get to see the deck, I'll also be able to get pretty close to how it feels thanks to Make Playing Cards, or MPC's new beta cardstock. MPC's new beta cardstock feels so much less like a prototype and so much more like the real thing that it's gonna make this experience that much better for us. So today you're gonna get your very first look at what you can expect from the SlowHands Playing Cards coming very soon to Kickstarter. If you're as excited as I am, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, intro.
Let's go.
All right guys, now before we open this package, if you're not familiar with the SlowHands Playing Cards, I would highly recommend checking out the video where I go into depth about it. But just a high-level overview, SlowHands is my brand of playing cards. This is gonna be the V1 deck that we're dropping on Kickstarter this winter, probably sometime around late January. The idea is mine, but they were also made possible thanks to Nick Nisko at Elemental Playing Cards. He hand drew these designs. Also a big shout out to Daniel Schneider for customizing one of the court cards just for me. And of course, so far, big shout out to all of you who helped to make this dream come true for me. I'm so excited. Let's get into it. One last thing before I open this box, you guys will also be getting my full reaction, as this is gonna be the first time I'm seeing all of it in real life. So as of right now, I will be the only person to have held this deck in my hands. We've seen the designs over and over. You've seen the 3D renders. This is gonna be the real thing, so here we go. Really good packaging too, I like that. Here we go. Oh my God. Just seeing it in the box, just seeing the side of the tuck cases. That's nice, it's like memory foam. All right, here we go. Oh my God. Like, I know this is just a prototype and the real thing is gonna look so much better, but already, guys, whew. All right, I can't wait anymore. Oh, I am so excited, guys. Here is your very first look at the SlowHands Playing Cards. You know what, it's almost too good. I wanna give you guys your first look in a B-roll sequence. Roll it. hope you guys enjoyed that B-roll. I had a lot of fun shooting it. This is something that I talked about with Nick, the designer of this deck. He told me that I cannot review my own deck of cards, but I really think I can. In fact, I really think that most of you, if you're still watching this, really want to see me review this deck of cards. So if I'm right about that, go ahead and hit that like button. Every like I get is going to be one more point proving Nick wrong. All right, Nick, this one's for you. Let's do the review. Oh man, I am so excited. I'm in my deck review station. A lot of this stuff is going to be changing, like starting today. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm going to kind of take everything apart, reconstruct it, and try to find something a little bit more visually pleasing for you guys. But for now, let's review my deck. The excitement, I really can't contain it. I'm like sweating, I'm so excited. All right, now real quick preface just before I review anything. Remember, this is a prototype, so even though it is gonna be as close to the real thing as you can possibly get, it is not the real thing. So do remember any details that you see that are a little bit off or any off-centeredness or something, that is to be expected. MPC is a great company, but they are not perfect, and their printing standards just aren't the same for USPCC because they're printing very limited amounts of decks. So just keep that in mind. All right, now the real tuck case won't be this glossy. Look how glossy. But this is the tuck case, so you can see it is going to be done in primarily red ink. It has the custom SlowHands typeface on it. This was actually hand drawn by Nick. So it says SlowHands Playing Cards, has the two snails up at the top with this nice casino style border, and of course the V1 SlowHands logo right there in the bottom corner. Now when we did this, the tuck case design, we didn't want to make it look like a rider back tuck case because even though the deck is meant to mimic the roots of somebody's journey into card magic, I wanted the tuck case to be sexy. So this is actually many iterations later of what we wanted the box to look like. And I could not be happier with how it came out. It looks so good, so simple, but just so elegant. I love it. One side of the deck says Gomes X Nisco. So my name's Kier Gomes, his name's Nick Nisco. We did this deck together. There you go. The other side says Starters Edition. Now I have gotten a few questions on what that means. Well, where there's a V1, there's bound to be a V2, and that's all I can say. And this is the Starters Edition, meant to represent when you first start your journey into the love of playing cards. So I'm gonna let you think about that. Let me know what you think it means down below. The bottom of the tuck box says SlowHands Playing Cards, concept by Kier Gomes, designed by Nick Nisco. Now this deck will actually be printed on casino grade stock or premium stock with the United States Playing Card Company. MPC, however, does not print their cards in the US, but from what I understand, this is gonna feel pretty close, so I'm super excited. On the top of the tuck box, you can see it says SlowHands Playing Cards once again with that capital S breaking through the border on the top. Now that was actually, Nick and I were going back and forth about what we wanted the top to look like. We ultimately decided that we wanted it to just say SlowHands Playing Cards on it, but it was our friend Luke Wadey, who you might know as the designer of the Mono X, Mono Zero, and Grid series playing cards, who actually gave us the idea to break that border. So Luke, big shout out to you, buddy. And the back design, of course, is the back design of the cards. It's meant to look like a standard rider back design, however, with a little bit more of a whimsical approach with the SlowHands logo. As you can see, it's a snail with the hand coming out of it. And as well, it has that custom typeface mirrored on the back, and this is supposed to be a subtle one-way back design, so we'll talk more about that when we get into the cards. And finally, inside the tongue flap, it says practice does not make perfect. That was kind of the mantra of the teaser trailer that we did, and it's something that we just stuck with, and I really think it belongs there. All right, tuck case down. Let's look at the cards. Oh wow, yeah, these actually do feel really good. Ooh, way better than a prototype that you'd be used to. And I think it's about the same thickness. So when these are actually printed, they're gonna be on premium stock, which I think is about that same thickness. Here we go. All right, the back design of the deck looks like this. So you've seen this before on the 3D rendering. However, seeing it in person, I really cannot get over how good it looks. All of the scroll work on the sides, all of that vine work was actually hand drawn by Nick, as well as the custom typeface. That font was actually hand drawn by Nick as well. And then you have the SlowHands V1 logo, which is the 2 snails, with some dot work on the inside, and then that swirl in the middle. Now the swirl is actually the only thing that makes this deck a one-way back design. It's very subtle, but if I hold it this way, and if I hold it that way, they're different. And there is a reason for that. We wanted this deck, again, to represent beginners and to really mean something to the roots of Magic. And it starts with little things like that. A little simple one-way deck design with a very subtle change that nobody would really notice can help you unlock a lot of the creativity that it takes to come up with certain Magic effects. Another thing that you can see is that the borders on this deck are thinner than you would usually see on a bicycle deck, and that's just because it looks better. It just looks better that way, especially when you fan them. Check this out. Ooh, yes. One more time. Look at how good that looks. Oh my God. All right, now just a quick thing. So far from the 3D renderings that you've seen on Instagram, the only thing that we've showed is the back design of the cards. So something that you haven't seen yet would be the Ace of Spades, the Jokers, the Court cards, and unfortunately, the Gaff cards that we're gonna do for the deck are not included in the prototype. There is a Gaff card in the prototype, but it's not the same as one that we're actually gonna use. All right, let's look at the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades looks like this. It is a very chunky, old school casino style spade pip with some of that goo and the SlowHands V1 snail kind of creeping away from it. I like it because the snail is doing the peace sign. That's just to look like the antennas or whatever they're called of a snail, but it also is kind of peace out to the Ace of Spades. So this actually represents one of my favorite Ace of Spades is the Rounders, the Madison Rounders Ace of Spades. And what I really like about it is just that it's a huge spade pip. And it's very elegant, very classy, but I also like the chunky pips. So when me and Nick were discussing Ace of Spades, this is basically exactly what both of us wanted to see. And I really, really dig that. I think it's very nice, especially if you're gonna be using this deck for Magic. And here's your Jokers. One more play on the bicycle rider back theme. We have, instead of the US $ looking logo in each corner, we have SH for SlowHands. It says Joker in the SlowHands typeface, and then instead of having a king on a bicycle, we have a snail on a bicycle. I really like that. Instead of having the 808 on the stump back here, it actually says MMXX, which is 2020. Now your other Joker is gonna look very similar, but you can see that there is a hidden reveal in the spokes of the bike. I really like that. The 3 of Clubs happens to be my favorite card, but also hidden reveals like this, when you're first getting into Magic, are priceless. And it kind of matches, again, the youthful stages of this. When you would put a playing card in the spokes of your bike and make it sound like a motorcycle. Those are your Jokers. I absolutely love these. My favorite Jokers of all time, hands down, no doubt. As I previously stated, the Gaff cards that we're gonna use with this deck, we didn't include in the prototype. So in the prototype, we just put a double backer. In the meantime, it's still definitely something you can use for Magic effects. But we are gonna do 2 different Gaff cards for the actual deck, and I'm excited to share those with you, but now is not the time. All right, let's look at the rest of the faces. So the rest of your faces are gonna be mostly bicycle standard. As you can see, there's no customization on the pips or the index, which is exactly what I want. If you know me, you know I absolutely love standard bicycle faces. I would not have it any other way in my own deck. I want to keep that alive. However, we did make some changes to the court cards. There's some color customizing going on here. You might notice that there is no blue on these cards. So usually on a bicycle deck, you would see blue, yellow, and red as the colorway. We actually swapped out the blue for black to make it look a little bit more vintage. And I think it looks better. In my opinion, this is the way to do it. It also really matches the back design of the cards. So there will not be any blue line work on this deck. It's gonna all be done in black. Your diamonds are going to look the same as you would see on a bicycle deck. Again, that is what I wanted. I really like the black instead of the blue. I think it looks so good. It looks so good. And you might recognize the King of Clubs. That's me. Here, hang on. What face am I making? Yeah, baby. So this court card was actually drawn by Daniel Schneider. I was also the King of Clubs on the Black Roses Hotel deck, which is coming out in a couple of months. It just got successfully funded on Kickstarter last month. And Daniel was nice enough to let us use the likeness to create this card. So to Daniel Schneider, thank you so much for the role you played in making me the King of Clubs on my own deck of cards. Now everything else is gonna be as you've seen so far. So it's gonna be bicycle standard, but with no blue line work on the court cards. It's been swapped out for black. And we also have Nick Nisko as the King of Hearts. So Nick, I guess this is your big face reveal, bud. Here you go. So this one was actually not designed by Daniel Schneider. This was drawn by Nick. It was his very first attempt at customizing his own face onto a court card. And I honestly think he did a great job. It looks so good. If you haven't seen Nick's face, take my word for it, this looks just like him. And then all your other courts are gonna be bicycle standard, but again, no blue. I should make a swear jar, but every time I say no blue, just put $1 in there and be able to buy my own deck twice. All right, now that may be it for the design of the deck. And instead of switching angles to talk about how it handles, I mean, this is just the prototype. But you guys can tell from the B-roll how the deck is gonna look in movement. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to message me, but I will show you. This is what the deck looks like when you fan it out. It looks kind of like a bicycle deck, but with thinner and nicer borders. And then if you fan it for the indices, you're gonna get basically bicycle standard. So there you go. If you have any questions about how it's gonna handle, you can buy the deck when it goes on Kickstarter. I just can't. It's just a prototype. I can't imagine when I get the real thing from USPCC. Oh my God. And there you go. Well guys, thank you so much for watching this episode and my unboxing / reaction of the very first prototypes of the SlowHands Playing Cards. As you can tell from the deck review, the cards actually feel so much better. This is a quality from MPC that I have never seen before. My first brush with it was the Oxygen deck prototype that I got from Elemental to help promote it. And honestly, I mean, this is a deck, I could use this deck, whereas in the past, MPC playing cards, they're not usable. They're good for photos and they're good for footage, but they're not usable. But this card stock, I think, is usable. So this may be the only deck that I'm holding until we get the real ones in. So get used to it, and definitely make sure you give us a follow at SlowHands_cards on Instagram. You can see all the footage, all the updates, and everything that you want to know about the deck coming very soon. Also, I do want to give a shout out to some of the people that are going to be receiving these prototypes for helping us out with all the footage. I really can't wait to see what you guys come up with. All right, I gotta go. I need a cold shower or something because I really can't handle the excitement right now. So that's it for me today, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Halloween. Be safe out there. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.